I was in and out of college at the University of Texas several times. I don't know, I think I counted up 6 times I dropped in and out. I moved into this vegetarian co-op, housing co-op, when I was about 22 or 23. And I wasn't a vegetarian, but I thought it would be fun. I thought I'd meet a lot of interesting people. So I moved in, and I had my food consciousness awakened. I became a vegetarian. I learned how to cook. I became the food buyer for the co-op. I had found my calling in a way because this was something I became very passionate about. Talked to my girlfriend who was at the co-op and asked her if maybe we should do our own store. And she got excited about the idea, and in a year we'd opened up our own store and called it Safer Way. Safer Way was capitalized with $45,000. We lost half of it in the first 12 months we were open, probably because Renee and I did not have a clue of what we were doing.
He came to the investors and said, I know we've had a rough year, but I figured out the problem. I know what we need to do. And he said, what we need to do is open a really big store.
It was just too small. We didn't have a big enough store to put in a full selection of grocery products. So I wanted to have a real grocery store where you could do all of your shopping there, not just pick up a few items. We relocated it to a bigger location and merged with one of our competitor stores at the time, Clarksville Natural Grocery. Changed the name because they didn't want to be called Safer Way, and we didn't want to be called Clarksville, so we changed the name to Whole Foods Market. We figured if we liked it, probably other people would like it too, and that turned out to be very much the correct assumption, as that first Whole Foods Market store just took off and was a success from the very first day.
They call it the 100-year flood, which means that the probability of something to that magnitude wouldn't happen more than maybe once a century. But we didn't know the magnitude until we came to work for our early morning shift the next day, when we came to seeing the store completely decimated.
We had 8 feet of water in the store, so we were really almost bankrupt before we really got going. I mean, the store had only been open about 8 or 9 months. Fortunately for us, we had a very dedicated team member base, and all of our stakeholders came and saved us. Our suppliers fronted us new inventory, our investors put in new capital, the bank loaned us more money, the team members worked for free until we got back open again. Customers came in and helped us clean up the store, in fact. Many customers came and pitched up alongside of us and helped us dig out of the muck. It did awaken in my consciousness the first inkling I had about stakeholders. Was quite aware that there were these different parts of the business that cared about us.
Everybody that trades with the business does so voluntarily. Your customers do, your employees do, your suppliers do, your investors do, and together they create value through their voluntary exchanges with the organization. I learned they were all important. And so as a result, the stakeholder philosophy that Whole Foods has embraced, really the genesis of it was back in that flood.
They used to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but nowadays some consumers think apples are forbidden fruit.
That day that we called Alar Sunday was a big deal, and it really made a difference not only for Whole Foods Market but for the whole food industry. 60 Minutes had a show on looking at the growth regulator Alar that was used on apples, and they brought in the concept that we're using this growth regulator on a fruit that school children have as the primary fruit that they eat.
Some say Alar is a health risk. The Food and Drug Administration told me there's no way to wash off Alar from an apple.
So everybody started looking for organic apples, because organic was the only thing that really was a guarantee they weren't using this growth regulator. And so, like, overnight, our apples were just going like crazy.
People were scared. You naturally had the government reassuring people that this was no danger to anyone. At the same time, people were worried about cancer.
Yes, it costs more. We're willing to pay the price at this point instead of consuming carcinogens.
Federal officials are also questioning the danger of apples that have been treated with Alar, in light of lots of conflicting evidence.
From A to Z, everybody's concerned about what's in the produce.
From now on, I'm going to shop organic. I'm going to try.
There was this tremendous momentum, but it was also this string of acquisitions that came one after another. I mean, we became a bigger company very quickly. And the experience was pretty heady, pretty exciting. It was a very expansive experience, and this wonderful excitement about sharing new ideas from people who were doing things slightly differently. We learned a lot from Bread and Circus. Bread and Circus contributed the perishables and the coordinator structure to Whole Foods. They were the best at selling fresh food, and they had this structure that kind of supported that.
Whole Foods bought Bread and Circus in 1992. Whole Foods has a fantastic culture for learning. And what Whole Foods brought to Bread and Circus, which we were really lacking, was that real sense of running a business that really empowers people and really gets the best out of people. You stopped feeling like you were employees. You really started to feel like you were team members. Here's Whole Foods having stores in Boston, stores in North Carolina, stores in Texas, stores in California. And they could do it because they really empowered people and let them take responsibility to run things the way they needed to be run right there. I think it's what's really allowed us to grow the way we have grown to the company that we have today.
Whole Foods Market cares about welfare of animals because we think they're worthy of being cared about. We set up our animal welfare standards to kind of have a race to the top so that people can become more conscious that there are these different levels of humane treatment.
Then we had to turn around and convince thousands of farms that it was worthwhile getting audited. That was really the big challenge because you're talking about changing growing practices that people have had done in their families for many years.
Well, you know, Manhattan, make it there, make it anywhere. There's, 7 to 8 million people living on that island. At the time, we didn't feel we were good enough. We felt, frankly, intimidated by all the New York retailers and just the toughness of Manhattan. So we spent a lot of time thinking about that. And then as a team, we said, we need to be the best natural food and organic food store. We need to be Whole Foods Market. So when we opened Chelsea, customers immediately fell in love with the store. And Chelsea quickly grew into the high-volume store it is today. And that was really the store that put us on the map. And we said, the next store we're going to do, we have to do a bit bigger. Columbus Circle, in terms of changing the company, it gave Whole Foods a real swagger. Right after Columbus Circle, the stock broke $100 for the first time. So it was kind of like our stamp of approval from Wall Street that Whole Foods was really a special place. It was a major inflection point in terms of Whole Foods' success being here and then going to this level.
As we came into the 2000s, we had some times where the comps were north of 10%, even some 10, 12%. I mean, these are extraordinary numbers in food retailing.
Up in our Boulder, Colorado store, a handful of team members said, we'd like to offset our energy with wind power. And they started first one year with a portion of the energy usage offset by wind. The next year, they expanded it to the full store. Then the STL said to the region, why don't we do the whole region? Then instead it was like, why don't we do the whole company? And that was I'd say a watershed moment because it really crystallized green mission around the company. We've had a number of firsts. We were the first grocery store to have solar-powered panels on rooftop.
The first company to get rid of the plastic bags at the checkouts. First company to use waste cooking oil as a fuel source for a backup generator and on-site combined heat and power for a kitchen.
We were the first store to use fuel cells.
The Brooklyn store is a really neat site. It's on the Gowanus River. We decided to take it and make it as environmentally sound and sustainable as possible.
So it's the first grocery store in the U.S. to be LEED Platinum certified, which is the highest level of certification by a third party.
Let's tackle poverty through Whole Foods Market's philosophy of entrepreneurship so that ultimately people living in poverty can be empowered to change their own life.
Microcredit is a transformative vehicle. It is a small loan, usually $300 or less, low interest, no contract, no collateral. A microcredit loan can enable someone to purchase a goat and sell goat milk, and then maybe purchase another goat and, basically improve living conditions. Slowly but surely put themselves on the road to a better life through their own hard work. We're now supporting 5 million people in 61 countries.
In 2006, you did something that is counterintuitive to a lot of corporate leaders. You reduced your salary to $1 a year. Why did you do that?
Since I was about 19, and I made a decision to follow my heart to wherever it led me in my life. Realized life was very short. None of us were getting out of here alive. And in view of that, you should really do the things that you care about, that you're passionate about. And so I followed that heart. I followed the guidance of my own inner heart. And it was pretty clear to me back in 2006, I'd made enough money, I didn't need to take any more money from Whole Foods, and that I should continue to do my work strictly out of a sense of service to the mission and purpose of Whole Foods.
I don't know if this is an extension of that philosophy or not, but your executives are limited to not making more than 19 times what the average worker makes, whereas most of corporate America, sometimes it's 100 more, sometimes it's 300 times more than the average worker makes. Why that step?
I think it's important that you create, if you have a team-based philosophy like Whole Foods does, and we're all creating the company, we're all creating value, it's important that you not get too big a spread internally between the highest paid and the lowest paid. I mean, you have to worry about what the market pays, but you also have to worry about your own internal morale of your organization. If there's too big a spread, it demotivates people.
I think Whole Foods is built on the idea that we want to support, encourage the creativity and intelligence of each and every one of our team members. We have these 78,000 fantastic team members who have a little room to run, and that is the strength of the company, the culture, which is the living, breathing heart of the company. It's where the people are. It's where the humanity lives. It's where the connection happens. And that's the most powerful thing about Whole Foods.
There is, for instance, a gain-sharing program you have where teams are given some data and some incentives. Can you explain how that works?
Be happy to. Everybody in Whole Foods, including myself and John, belong to a team. If they build the sales or if they save cost, that the productivity that they create is shared with them. The average in the company last year was over $1 an hour in their paychecks from gain sharing, which they created through their very own efforts. Whether they create extra sales or they're more efficient with their schedule, they participate in the gains that they produce.
Are there any innovations that occur to you that have come out of this kind of thing?
There was a customer who had a blind son, and she said her 7-year-old son wanted to be able to shop Whole Foods. So this team leader actually created the Braille tags in 3 departments so this customer's son could shop. And now those tags have been picked up by the Braille Institute here in Boston and are being spread around. So I mean, there's an example of a team just saying, hey, here's a customer, a need, let me see what I can do. Did it on her own, didn't ask permission, just did it. If you can empower people so that they are creating the innovation on a constant basis, the company's moving much faster. And in the 21st century, in this marketplace, distributed intelligence, distributed decision making is the way to proceed because you're going to go faster. So the real competitive advantage, the enduring competitive advantage, is people, is team members imbued with a sense of mission or purpose that are carrying the company forward. That is a sustainable competitive advantage.
Whole Trade is, simply put, Whole Foods Market's ethical trading program. It's a certification partnership program, so we're working with independent certifiers to verify conditions on the farms where we buy our food. We're talking about environmental conditions as well as labor conditions. Additionally included in the Whole Trade guarantee, of course, is that the products meet our quality standards. We're guaranteeing that more money is getting through to either small farmers or to farm workers. And we're also able to generate an additional benefit to the Whole Planet Foundation on all of our retail sales so that we can support their work alleviating poverty around the world.
There are people growing great products all over the world, small indigenous farmers. Their problem is, how do you get to market? Creating these direct relationships with producers, whether it's coffee or spices or mangoes or bananas, brings more of the dollar that product realizes at retail down to the farm level and creates a greater benefit. I think that's something that Whole Foods does as well or better than any other grocery company in the world.
Whole Foods today is the end result of the dreams that team members and suppliers, and investors, and all the stakeholders had many years ago. And those dreams have been materialized because people had the vision and the passion and the courage to dream and then make those dreams come true.